Hello and good morning. This is the Breville Barista Pro model BES878 in black truffle. As you saw in the photos, this is a used unit in good condition. It actually is a refurbished unit, so that means it was used, serviced, checked, cleaned, and I'll be selling it with warranty. So this one is a trade-in, and one of my customers sold it to me in exchange for the newer model, the dual boiler. So the next model in line. This one was fine, didn't have any real issues. I just did a basic service with changing the O-ring seals, testing the machine at full pressure, obviously testing all the features. And yeah, the machine works like new, no issues at all. And in this video, I'll be making a coffee. So I'll be making my morning latte. So that's going to be obviously grinding some coffee, testing the brewing functionality, testing the steam, and also I'll be testing the hot water function for you. So the first thing I like to do when I make a coffee on these machines is to do a warm-up shot, a blank shot, without any coffee. So you put your cup underneath the handle, lock it in. It's empty, of course. Run a double shot of hot water. That's going to run some water through the group head into the cup. Give it some heat. It's also going to clean any residual coffee or oils stuck in the portafilter or the group head shower screen. So it's a good habit to do basically in any coffee machine. You can do that once or twice. That's the double button. I'll test the single button for you just to make sure everything is nice and healthy. And it is. I did this test obviously before the video. Alrighty. Next, I'm going to put this away. Just put it there. You're going to grab a tissue or a towel to dry the portafilter. So you want it to be nice and dry. Your machine comes with a few baskets, I believe. So I've got all four baskets. I'm going to be using the single shot, single wall. It comes with a fair few accessories as you saw in the photos. Razor tool, milk wand cleaning tool, the milk jug, obviously the portafilter and the tamper, which magnetically attaches here. I'm going to be using the single basket, which takes about 10 grams of coffee. I'm going to be using my scale to dose that 10 grams, just to show you how I do it. You don't have to use a scale, you can just make coffee by eyeballing it. I'm going to be using a scale just to make sure everything is nice and consistent. I'm going to be using grind size 4, and I'll be grinding for about 10 seconds. Let's do 9 seconds. I haven't made a coffee on this machine in a while. It's been sitting in storage for a few weeks. But with these beans, I'm going to be using grind size 4. We'll adjust the grind size based on what we get. So to put it simply, the grind size is how large or how fine the coffee particles are coming out of the grinder. A large grind size will give you a fast shot. A small grind size will give you a slow shot. The perfect shot is a shot that takes about 20 to 30 seconds, and it gives you a 2-to-1 ratio, meaning if we put 10 grams in here, we should be getting 20 grams into the cup in about 20 to 30 seconds. If I'm using the double basket, which is inside the machine, that's an 18 gram basket, we should be getting 36 grams in 25 seconds, let's say. That's a good speed. If I'm getting my double shot in only 5 or 10 seconds, obviously that's way too quick. If my shot is taking 40 or 50 seconds to come out, that's way too slow. So we just need to titrate the grind size so we can have that sweet spot of 20 to 30 second brew time. Let's give that a try. Alright, that's 9 seconds of grinding. Gave us about 8.5. So it looks like we might need a little bit more. So 9 seconds gave me 8.5. I'll use 10.5 seconds. So another 1.5 seconds basically. Yeah, that's 10 grams. So with these beans, with this grind size, we required 10.5 seconds. If you don't have a scale, that's totally fine. What you do is you grind whatever amount you can. Usually it will fill the basket to the top before you press it down. So this is 10 grams, it's filling the basket to the top before pressing, and then when you press, it'll compact itself by about this amount. To summarize, if you don't have a scale and you want to know if you have the correct amount of coffee, once you grind, before you press, have a look, it should fill the basket to the top. And then once you press it down with the tamper, it should go as deep as this silver part of the tamper. That's the correct depth that it should go to, and in this case, that's what's happening. Sorry about that, my alarm tries to go off at the perfect time. Yep, that's what it looks like. Silver pot sinks in. We also have a tool just for this purpose as well to check. It's called the razor tool. It's this aluminium piece that measures the depth of the coffee, and the coffee should be this deep basically. That's the same depth as the silver part on the tamper. This is perfect. You see? It's hard to see actually on camera, but it's exactly the same depth. If you have too much coffee, you can just use this tool to rotate in a circular fashion, and it'll take the top layer, just a fine layer of coffee. So that's going to scrape the top layer off and make sure you have the correct depth of coffee. Anyway, enough talking, let's make some coffee. I'll lock this in, lock it in the middle, make sure it's nice and firm. I've got a hot water tap here. It's going to give me clean hot water straight from the boiler. So if you want to make an Americano coffee, if you want to warm up your cup, if you want to brew a tea bag, that's a very nice way to get some hot water instead of turning on the kettle to get some hot water from in your kitchen. I like to add a little bit of sugar to my coffee, just a tiny bit. So I use this hot water to help the sugar dissolve at the bottom of my cup. Alright, and next I'm going to use the single button to brew my dose. It should give me about 20 to 25 grams of coffee in 20 to 30 seconds. What's most important really is the taste. It's more important than the numbers. People often focus too much on the numbers. Oh, my shot is taking 40 seconds, my shot is taking 20 seconds, not 25. I'm getting 18, not 19 grams. Don't worry, just taste the coffee, and if it tastes great, that's fine. That's what all of this is about, you know? It's an exercise in making coffee, not an exercise in numbers. Alright, resetting my scale, and I'm gonna press the brew button, and let's see what comes out. Hopefully it's a good shot. I don't want to do this twice, but if we have to, we'll do it. It's coming out rather slowly from the spouts, so I'm guessing it might be too fine. So this is grind size 4. We only got 12 grams out, so that's way too fine. It needs to be double that basically. What I'll do, I'll empty this into the bin. I'm gonna reset the grind size to maybe 6 or 8, and then I'll make another shot. I want to make you see all of that in the meantime. All right, this is the second attempt. This is grind size 8. We've gone from 4 to 8. Larger grind size should mean our brew speed is quicker. I've changed the grind size to 8, but also the grind speed, grind amount is now at 9.5 seconds. So instead of 10.5, it's 9.5. Obviously, if you increase the grind size, the grind will be quicker, if that makes sense. Like there will be less resistance on the motor. So now you're getting the single dose in 9.5 seconds. And the single dose is now 7.5 grams, 7.5 or 8 grams instead of 10 grams. Ask me why. The reason is coarser, larger size coffee will take more volume. But basically, just let's try this as is without explaining the physics. I'll add some more. I'll add hazelnut syrup this time because we added more coffee. We'll need to add more flavor. Some hazelnut syrup so the coffee isn't too bitter. And let's brew. It's already brewing quicker. We started around the 5-second mark. It's coming out of both spouts. And it's at 20 seconds now. 23 seconds. That's mid-range brew speed. Let's see the amount. 20 grams. I think that's it. I'm happy with that result. So we've got a doubling in about 23 seconds. It was flowing consistently basically from both spouts and not coming out in waves like the first shot. Ideally, you want to use the double shot basket. It's going to give you stronger coffee that's more consistent. I'm using the single shot just for health reasons. I don't want to drink too much caffeine during the day. But yeah, that's it. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to steam some milk. Turn on the steamer, give it about 5 or 7 seconds, it should start steaming. There we go. Nice strong steam. Turn it off. Turn it back on. The technique is hard to describe while I'm doing the milk, but basically keep the jug at an angle, keep the wand close to the surface of the milk, and keep the milk spinning in the vortex fashion. The deeper you are in the milk, the less foam you'll be getting. So if you want more foam, stay closer to the surface of the milk. And then when it's too hot to the touch, just stop the steam. So now I can still touch it, but when I can't touch it for more than a second, and that's usually about 60 degrees. Really important, you want to clean the wand before you let it dry out. So grab a wet towel and scrub it. Great. Then give it a purge. So a purge is basically you just turn it on for 3 seconds, just to make sure it pushes some water through the holes. That's about it. If you've got any air bubbles, just knock the jug down to break them. Swirl the jug around to mix it up. Do this a few times until the surface is nice and smooth. It looks silky smooth now. Okay, the milk is quite thick, so it's closer to a cappuccino, but that's fine. Still looks delicious. If you're lucky, you can get some patterns like a heart or a tulip or a flower. In my case, I didn't get something too presentable today, but at least it looks nice and smooth. Very thick foam, about 2 centimeters. So yeah, it looks like a delicious coffee. I'm looking forward to having it this morning. I'm sure you can do even better latte art if you do some practice. I've been making coffee for years. I've never really practiced doing milk back to back, but if you do, honestly, this machine can do latte art that rivals matches the latte art you can find in cafes if you're skilled enough and you have the time. I hope you enjoyed the machine. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you later. Cheers.